Hello there, everyone. How are you? Technology can be interesting, but we are here. Don't let anybody tell you can't conquer a challenge. You can do it. It is so good to be with you again tonight. We haven't been with you for a couple of weeks, both for personal reasons as well as we are with you every Thursday that we have a guest. And so this is a very special one. I'm hoping that you are sharing this out with someone right now. Our guest is absolutely amazing. She is fly and all that good stuff. And so we're going to have a really good conversation. So while I'm introducing just who we are and what we do, please share this out with someone. Let them know that we are here so that they can discover their uniqueness. We're going to talk about that among some other things. My name is Trenace Richardson, and I am the founder of Real Women Rock because we do. And we exist to create safe spaces for women to do personal development work on themselves. And we do that personal development work through sister circles. We take an opportunity pre-COVID to literally meet in circles across the country and abroad. It's our goal to make sure that women really connect in a meaningful way and that they grow their own personal confidence in who they are and who they're created to be, and also that they become a catalyst of positive change in their own life first, and then it spills over into the lives of those that they know. And we do this with the mission of making sure that every woman has a safe space to grow. Yay, hey, Annette. Safe space to grow, as well as a circle of sisters. It is an awesome way to connect. We've been doing it since 2013. And once COVID hit, we moved online. And so as things are changing and adjusting, we spent the summer taking a break, but also we met one time outside in Prince George's County, Maryland, and had an amazing time. And what we've decided is that we're going to rest for the rest of the summer and then come back virtually just because of all of the things that are happening with the Delta variant. We want to be safe. And so we are here with you on every Thursday night that we have a guest to give you a sneak peek into a conversation with real women. And we have an amazing woman to chat with us today. So make sure that you've shared this video with someone. Say hello to us. This is interactive. We want to hear from you. We will have questions for you. We'll be reading your comments and reacting to them. So for these just these few moments, we want you to engage with us. I'm so freaking excited to invite my guest on. Let me tell you, I have admired her from afar for a very long time. And I had the opportunity recently to be in the same space with her on more than one occasion. And she is joy personified. If you want to smile, I'll show you in a second. When I put it up here, you're going to smile automatically just because. But she is an ultra serial entrepreneur, just starting businesses and speaking and writing and just doing so many wonderful things. She's an advocate. She does so much. And so I'm going to bring, hey there, Tricia. I'm going to bring to the stage Miss Gabrielle Jordan. Hey, girl.
Hi.
You're here. I'm so excited. We've been working on this for a while.
Yes, I'm so excited. This is gonna be so good. I meeting you, like always, like such good energy. So like this is gonna be great.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I do want to say something about that and just have you say hello and introduce yourself because you have almost maybe grown up in front of the public eye, just with really starting businesses really young. And you are this fly and dare I say woman, young adult, whatever you're comfortable with. But you have grown up before us and have blossomed and been an inspiration to so many. So would you mind sharing with us just a little bit about yourself for someone who's maybe been living under a rock, please?
Yeah, no. Well, a little bit about me. I for a long time in my life. I'm 21 years old, by the way. So
Okay.
I'm new to the game in terms of life, but not in terms of entrepreneurship and speaking and authorship and making something, and building, career. I have been an entrepreneur for over half my life, 10 years now. We're 10, 11 years now. I created a jewelry business when I was 9 years old, taught myself how to make jewelry when I was 7, started the business when I was 9.
Can I just stop? Can I just stop for a second? I know you got to keep going,
Yeah.
but I just want all of us to consider and think about what we were doing at 7, and it was not creating a business for at 9, at 7, at 10. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. This happens a lot, so it's fine. I'm getting used to it after 21 years of this. I'm only now getting used to it.
Right.
But no, I about 11 years old was when I wrote my book, The Making of a Young Entrepreneur, which is an Amazon bestseller now. I think that happened when I was 13 years old. Wow. I started speaking when I was 12, became an international speaker by 14. And I guess from then on, 14 also, I co-founded a mentoring institute with my mom to mentor parents and their kids on how to start their businesses and grow. So, it's a little bit about me, but currently I got some new stuff in the works in terms of.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So, let's keep them here. Let's talk for a minute. I love that you had the wherewithal to start as young as you did. Where would you say kind of the root of that came from? What prompted that in you? Was it just an inner drive? Was it your parents? Was it a combination of things? What would you say?
I'm definitely the desire and passion that came from wanting to make jewelry, learning how to make jewelry. That was me. And even selling for the first time, that was me. But I will have to say that I owe so much to my family life. Like, I grew up, I have on my mom's side 5 generations of entrepreneurs. When I became an entrepreneur, I became the 6th generation. Mm-hmm. I know I'm a Caribbean home, so there's you got grandparents living here, uncles, and all my family home, a lot of family in it, and a lot of them have businesses. So I was seeing that, my grandparents, I was seeing my mom, and then eventually my dad started a business. So I was seeing that growing up. So I was aware of the concept of working, making something and selling it. A lot of them are creatives too. So I saw that. So around 7 years old, when I discovered how much, jewelry just intrigued me, and I started teaching myself through YouTube, I eventually kind of built up the courage to go to school and wear my piece, some of the pieces that I wore. One of the first things I wore was a ring, and I called it the bling bling ring. And my friend looked at it and she was like, "Oh, where'd you get that?" And I said, "Oh, I made it." And she said, "How much?" And I said, $5. And she bought it right off of me. And the next day I wore a bracelet, sold that for $10. And then from then I was going on the school bus, playground, selling my jewelry.
Yes, I know that's right.
My parents didn't even know it was happening until I told them. And then they told me about entrepreneurship. And that's kind of how that spiraled into an actual, real business that got set up by 9. So
that's such a wonderful lesson for parents and family members to note that there was something already in you, and you just happen to have the freedom within your family unit to pursue it. And, whatever materials you needed, I'm sure, were provided. But had there been a really strict, no, you have to do this, or I have in mind what I want you to do, and that's what you're going to focus on, then you wouldn't have been able to pursue and just really succeed the way that you were. Did I read, because I don't know if we've talked about this, but did I read that you were homeschooled?
Yeah, only in high school. So technically 7th grade.
Yeah, I just think all of those things are notable, that there's some freedom and flexibility in how we raise our kids. So thank you for that.
And I'd like to, if you might add that real quick too, just because if there's any parents watching, I feel like 2 things that I pull from my childhood. One, my family, my parents nurtured seeds of creativity and talents that they noticed. They would notice little things in me and then nurture that so that I would feel confident in expressing those things. And so I owe so much of that to them because I probably would, kids who are, diminished or, you know, felt seeming to feel less in their home will grow up feeling that way. But kids who are encouraged and, you know, poured into will grow up feeling more competent and confident. So, and then the other thing too with about the homeschooling, that was actually a collective decision between myself and my parents. Because
Wow.
by the time I was in 7th grade, life was getting really busy with my work. And I was like, hey, I really don't see the benefit of going to traditional school at this point because I'm
That's
learning
right.
so much outside.
Ah!
We do homeschool, I could build my own curriculum and like be able to do all of this. And they were like, oh, we can think about it, we can work it out. And they just worked with me. And I just thought that was really special because I think not a lot of parents, a lot of people really take kids seriously when they decide something.
You got me thinking we're on the right track, girl. I don't know if I told you, but my son is 12 and he is homeschooled. He's been homeschooled since the 2nd grade for 99% of that time. And he makes bracelets and jewelry and those kinds of things. So I'm like, all right, I got a blueprint. I'm going to follow it. And it's just literally whatever he's interested in. And it has been a collective decision. We consider his thoughts and his feelings before we decide from year to year whether we're going to keep homeschooling or do something different. So I love that. I love that. Shout out to your family. Okay.
Absolutely.
So this is an engaging community, and they've already said, a few folks have already said hello to us. And if y'all are still here, and we have folks that are live as well as on the replay. So wherever you are, please make sure that you are sharing your comments, your questions with us, because we are going to address them. What questions do you have for this mega entrepreneur who has done so many wonderful things? I really wanted to focus in on something new that you have done. In addition, it seems like you're building on the work that you've been doing. And you have created, based on your research, something called the UV effect. And if I have it correctly, UV is unique value. And I think that is freaking amazing. So while you share with us a little bit about what it is and where it stems from, kind of how it was birthed out of you, we want to know from you all right now, even before you hear her explanation of it, what is your unique value? What do you offer the world, and what do you offer your community that is unique, and you know it's unique to you? And maybe as you're hearing her talk, that'll be something different that you're able to share and revise. But just start off letting us know what's unique about you. While Gabrielle, let us know a little bit about what the UV effect is and how it was birthed.
Yeah, absolutely. And also for those who are typing and sharing, if you're not certain of like what your unique value is, like what Sharice is, sorry, I called you Sharice. But think about like what it is that makes you unique. If that's all you can think about, like just think about what it is that makes you unique. But yeah, the UV effect, for one, it's not necessarily something I created, but I think more something that I discovered. After now, at this point, 7 years of study, I discovered this idea that, not just that there's something unique about us, but it's that inherent, innate uniqueness that allows us to design the value that we want to offer to the world. And I discovered that when I was around 14, 15 years old, and I was kind of just like, I was doing my work in my business, but I didn't really know why, not necessarily why like I should be doing it, but more so why why do I need to be the one to do it? Like, why am I so special? Can't somebody else do it? I was like legitimately wondering like why am I so important in this, right? In this life that I'm living. And it was legitimately brain whacking for me. And I just remember sitting down on the edge of my bed, just like looking out the window and just like wondering this to myself. And I just thought about that question. Why am I important? And that question just set me on a spiral now, a 7-year spiral of thinking about what I offer, what people offer, how much of it they decide to offer, and how much of it is about who they are innately. And I think there's this wonderful mix that happens once you are aware that there is something that you can offer, that there's something that's special that you can offer because you as an individual are unique,
Yeah.
and therefore you can then design and figure out how it is you want to offer that uniqueness, serve others with your uniqueness. Once you
Mhm.
realize that, then you it's such a beautiful thing, because then there's this purpose that is created by
Mhm.
moving with such intention. And
Yeah.
the confidence that comes when you realize that, people say only you can do what it is that you do. We realize
Yeah.
it all the time. But just as like a business has its own unique value, that's kind of actually where the
Mhm.
term originates, unique value proposition. Was
Yeah.
the business uniquely valuable, what distinguishes them from others. I
Yeah.
think the same thing applies to us, that we not only have what makes us unique, but then we also build and design what it is that we wish to offer to the
Yeah.
world, and who we want to touch with what it is that we have to offer. And we have
Yeah.
to be conscious of that power, what we can create through that. So that's kind of a broad image of what UV is about.
Yeah, and before you move on, because I want you to talk about maybe even the podcast, I I so resonate with what you just said, because the converse is true, right? If you once things become clear to you about who you are and what you're designed to do and what makes you unique, and remember, you all, that's the question we're asking you: what makes you unique? What is your unique value? Once we get that, there's this clarity, and like you said, we move with intention.
Mm.
Think about the converse of that, that when we are not clear, when we don't have clarity and a sense of who we are and value the unique inherency of who God has created us to be, I think we flounder and we kind of just do the 9 to 5 because it's the thing to do, or we do, and there's nothing wrong with a 9 to 5. I happen to have one and had one during COVID after being an entrepreneur for a while, and just so grateful I got it during COVID, because all of my speaking and singing and all of those kinds of things didn't happen during COVID. And so there's nothing wrong with a 9 to 5, but I happen to be in one that is uniquely designed for me. It's exactly kind of what I do, right? And so I'm able, it's a labor of love. It's not a job to me. It feels good to me to do it because it's in my wheelhouse. And I think when we don't do things in our wheelhouse, we flounder a bit. We get frustrated easily. And
Yes.
so and it doesn't feel like joy to us, and it can if we find our unique value. So I love that. I love what
I
you said
love,
about
and just to add a little, because I
that.
love that point of like I think a lot of people immediately think about UV and kind of apply it to like being an entrepreneur, which yes, absolutely it applies, I guess inherently to being an entrepreneur, because you kind of build that yourself. But I
Yeah.
think it applies just as much to somebody who's in a job, in a
Mhm.
9 to 5 job, or they work for a nonprofit, or literally any kind of work, even your hobbies. Like, it applies to every aspect of your life, but especially if you're working within like a corporation or somebody else's company. Because then one of the other big parts about understanding your unique value is not only recognizing, what you can offer, and how you want to offer it, but also realizing surely and confidently that you have something special that you offer, and
That's
that
good.
that you have value, and that value must be recognized by those who are around you, and that who those
Mhm.
who are serving, and those who you've decided to also use your value with, right? So you're
Yeah.
working at a 9 to 5, you're working at a job, like you were saying, finding something that both fits within your passions and your joys, but then also something, a place where people can then recognize as well what it is that you offer, because
Mhm.
you have the opportunity to constantly be offering that. So
Yes. Oh, that's so good. So you made me think of a couple of things. I don't know where I could go so many places, but the idea of it being important no matter what sector or what part of life we're in. You just made me think about relationships and the
mm,
idea that many of us, and this is real women, right? So I'm gonna just talk as a real woman, and you're a young adult now, 21, you've been in some kind of relationships at this
Yeah.
point, right? And
Yeah.
so as women, oftentimes I think we devalue ourselves, or we push forward other people, especially those in our circles that we love, that we might be in relationship with, and we don't put ourselves first. I'll just say it that way, because in order for us to be good and to serve others well, we have to take care of ourselves. And I think we don't do that sometimes, and recognize our unique value, even in a relationship, or our unique value in our home, or our, so I love that you broaden that out to not just be about business. But I also love that you are business savvy enough to utilize that terminology and the concept within the confines of business and entrepreneurship. And it brings me to my next question, because you have taken this UV effect and begun to do research on it. And I'm a researcher, girl. I spent 10 years getting my doctorate. And so I love the idea and the concept of your podcast. A lot of people are in the podcasting world, but they don't have this spin on it. This is unique.
Yeah.
The UV effect is unique. So
Yeah.
could you talk about the podcast and how you are utilizing that space?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I had the pod. I think I've had 3 seasons of the podcast currently. The first 2 seasons were traditional kind of, interviews talking about, what makes business owners unique and stuff. The recent season that just finished earlier this year was more about diving into the research. So earlier into the 2020, I started a research study where I created basically a process, or that individuals would go through, almost like a questionnaire. But by the end of it, they would have their innate gifts, and there's a lot of things I can't go into right now, but you would find a list of what, like, your gifts. You'd receive, you'd figure out your unique value statement, and you'd also be able to figure out how you would apply that in your world intentionally, both professionally, personally, in the lives of other people. So that whole interview process would be 1 to 3 days. So I had doing that, and there was something about this information for me where I was like, okay, one, I want to figure out how I can, like, start to conceptualize this information that I'm getting, start kind of putting it in order, understanding what I'm getting, and take notes, all of that, right? But then also I was like, this is some good stuff, like, that I would want to share with other people. And I was like, oh, I have this podcast. I wonder if there's a way that I could, share the research study with also sharing the people's stories, and, like, mixing it all together. And for me, like, I guess the idea was almost like, it's like a talk radio kind of thing, except, it's not live, but you get to hear their conversations, like our conversation during the research study. And then I cut in and kind of give some recaps on what was just shared, my input, my thoughts. So it's like you, as a listener, get to come along with me as I'm literally discovering things through the research study, and how unique value actually affects individuals' lives in that real time and space. So
Yeah.
been really fun.
That's amazing. So we're gonna get your information in just a few minutes. This time goes by so fast.
Yeah, wow.
So that folks can find, the website, the podcast. We'll share that so that they can get a taste of it and really just experience it for themselves. But I'd love for you to dig in a bit more, just really practically. When I think about unique value, let's just say someone is not sure or doesn't know how to tap into their unique value. And I host, Gabrielle, a membership called Leading with Soul, where I mentor women leaders. And one of the things that we talk about literally is our character and creativity. That's 2 of the pillars that we cover, where we really dig in. There's 7 of them, but those 2, we really dig into assessing and identifying and appreciating your unique value, right? But the idea behind that is appreciating what you personally bring to the table. So, because your creativity is wrapped up in who you are. Nobody is you. do, you know?
Yeah.
So I think about me, I'm a country girl. I love frogs. We can talk about that later. I literally that's my little spirit animal. So I love
Oh,
frogs. I'm funny. I am really smart. I love beaches. I love being really artsy, and I love wood. So I bring all of that to presentations. I bring all of that to my speaking moments. I love is that kind of what you're thinking about, or can you help me dig deeper into what you're talking about when you say how can we identify our unique value?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, the list that you shared in of itself is a really good list, and you actually kind of compiled both what I call innate internal gifts or internal abilities and external abilities, right?
Ooh, that's
So
good.
you shared things about yourself saying, how you like frogs, you're a country
Mhm.
girl. Those are
Mhm.
more external things about you that
Mhm.
that you kind of that express the internal things that go on, right? That make
Mhm.
you more you. This is just the expression of it. Then there's the internal things like funny,
Mhm.
which is more of it's the internal ability.
Yeah.
Those types of things, those are the kind of things that really fuel your uniqueness, and they
Yeah.
manifest in the real world, right? They manifest
Mhm.
through your actions and external results. So what we really want to look at, and I don't usually share this kind of thing on interviews, but I think if you want kind of like a practical thing that you can do,
Yes.
you're trying to figure out just what it is that makes you unique. We can talk about value another time, but if you're just trying
Mhm.
to figure out, okay, what is it that really makes me unique? Because there's plenty of people who are country girls, and there's a lot of people who like
Mhm.
frogs, but like, what is
Mhm.
it that makes me unique? During the process, what we usually do under the unique part is we work outside in. We go
Mm.
from the outside and work because it's easier to see what's on the outside and then start to kind of dig inward, right? So
Mhm.
I recommend the first thing that you do, and for listeners as well, like actually
Mhm.
even write this down. List out a few
Mhm.
of your, I guess, favorite things that you do in terms of your work, in terms of your hobbies. Like list all of that out, what you do in a day that you actually enjoy, all of
Mhm.
those things. And then from there, once you have a list, let's say about 5 or 6 things, we'll start with like a nice solid list. From
Mhm.
there, I want you to then list out the things that go on internally that make you enjoy that thing. So let's say
Mm.
you enjoy frogs. Maybe it's because you're a very caring person. You
Mhm.
like animals, so you're caring, or you're maybe attentive. Think about the
Mhm.
things that really happen internally that no one would ever be able to see unless you did the thing, right? Unless you were doing
Mhm.
something physical, right? Then
Mhm.
from there, we kind of dig a little bit further. But let's just start there. Because when you start to work from the outside and you start to realize that there is a reason why you do the things that you do, you start to
Mhm.
actually dig into who you are in doing those things, who you are in the actions that you're taking. Because a lot of people have a lot of actions. We do a lot of things. Everybody does a lot of things.
Mhm.
So it's important to start to think about and start digging inward and thinking, okay, what is it that's inside of me that the only way that this thing that I love is being expressed is through this action. There's things that are
Mhm.
happening inside of me and inside of my mind that these things that I love are expressing. What are those
Mhm.
things?
So good. That's the practical tip of the day, y'all. I cannot express how help. I just started jotting down some of the things I do and what I'm feeling and what I'm sensing and why I enjoy those things. And it really does connect and relate to those internal and external values that you just talked about. Thank you for that. Such a practical nugget. And we love those here. So thank you for that. I guess I would just ask you because we didn't this go
I
fast?
know it really did.
So fast. And I've been looking forward to talking to you for so long so I could keep going on and on. But I would first ask you what final words of encouragement or just, any kind of nugget that you'd like to give us as we're closing. And then as you lead out of that, please feel free to share any information, websites, resources. You've got jewelry, you've got books, you've
Yeah.
got, all of the things that you like to share. So the platform is yours just to share your final words and resources.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll start with the nugget. I don't know if everybody here believers, we believe in God. I'm a full 100%. He's my source of life. He's
Mhm.
everybody's source of life, but I hold on
Mhm.
to him for dear life. And the thing I've been learning a lot recently and has only kind of grown through the research is that we are designed to be creative beings. We are designed to create, not conform. And so I think we should be looking, despite the way that the world tends to kind of push us into kind of drone-like conformity mindset, we should be pushing ourselves. Try every opportunity that you have to think for yourself, to create something special, whether that be through your words or through physical objects or through writing, whatever it is. Find opportunities to express that creative ability that we all possess, because through that we will start to unlock the various ways that we can create or the world around us, the way that we want to live, the life that we want to live, the people that we want to be. We have that power. We've been gifted with that ability through our choices and our beliefs. So if anything, for the UV effect and what I'm trying to, build here is teaching people how to access that, talent, that gift of creativity, and to, fulfill that creative purpose that we are all designed to fulfill.
Oh my gosh. I gotta make you pause just for a second. I know you're gonna share your resources.
Yeah.
That is so good. We are created to create and not conform. And if we literally come from a creative being, that's our source, and we are made in our creator's image, then why would we not create? That's so good. Okay.
I mean, we are God's highest form of creation. So I think to myself, well, who is God? He is a creator. Like, then who are we? If we are his highest form of creation, if we are designed in his image, then exactly like what you're saying, then what is it that we're supposed to be doing? We are here to create. No matter how that looks, we're here to create. So yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm gonna say one more thing about that. You keep bringing it up out of me, Gabrielle, because I'm telling you what you just said. If that's the last nugget that you give us tonight, it is worth all of the nights that we reflect on it. Because if we believe, like you said, if I'm a believer in God as well. So if we believe that God lives in us, then, and God is all powerful, then what's going on the inside of us? Like, we are powerful because of God in us. And so I don't think that there's any, that whole unique value thing that you've hit on, it is so powerful, because we can't just say we serve or we acknowledge a big, powerful, creative God and then diminish our own value. I love that. I love that.
I love that. I love that. That, like, that hits the nail on the head. The reason why I'm doing this. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So if you are interested in the work on the UV effect, we actually have an open research study. So if you are interested in taking part of the research study, you will have the opportunity to go through the process. It's currently condensed down to a questionnaire, and then we'll have an hour interview to talk about what you went through and all of that. So if you go onto my website, GabrielleJordanInspires.com, there's a tab that says contact us, and then under that there's the research study. Click that, just put your name, email, all of that, and we'll reach back out to you. So yes, definitely do that. It's gonna be great. And also, if you do the research study, you have the option to be featured on the podcast, some of your clips on the podcast, as well as to just share you on the podcast. So if you're interested in that, totally join it. You also don't have to be on the podcast, but anyway.
I speak this study as your dissertation, girl. This thing,
I thought that in my head, but I'm like, one step at a time,
You already have your data together. Let me tell you, took me 10 years, what you about to do in 2. It's so good. Okay, I'm sorry. What were you about to say?
You're good. I love the hype up. I appreciate it. But you can just follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Gabrielle Jordan Inspires, Gabrielle Jordan INTL. You'll be able to find me just under Gabrielle Jordan anyway. I also have a jewelry company. If you're interested in jewelry, I'm wearing pair of my earrings now.
It's gorgeous, gal.
Thank
Gorgeous.
you. Jules Jordan with a Z. But right here, I think I want to focus more on UV. So GabrielleJordanInspires.com. Check out the research study. Think about it, joining it. It's a quick thing. And I promise you what you're going to get out of it will change your whole life. And it has changed many people just through the research. So I recommend joining it.
Woo, so good. And you all go get that jewelry too. Don't pay any attention to her. Go get your jewelry too. So I am just so elated. Thank you so much for being here with me. I can't wait to I'm gonna have to invite you back just so we can talk about young adulthood and being out here in these pandemic streets and jewelry and whatever else you want to talk about. You are welcome to come back anytime. Thank you so much for being
This
here.
is so great.
Yay!
Platform,
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, say it again, Gabrielle.
I said thank you for the platform. I appreciate it so much.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime. You all, this has been a sneak peek into a real conversation with real women. We are just so elated to have had the opportunity to, oh, yeah. I got it now. Jules of Jordan. Yes, mama. We got it. Thank you so much. And so we have the opportunity every Thursday night that we have a guest to really just celebrate women and conversing together. So many times you see women competing or women, not really being there supportive of each other. We have incredible conversations every Thursday. We're here on Facebook as well as on YouTube. Feel free to go to our website at realwomenrock.org to get more information about us. We are a nonprofit and we are in good standing, and we exist to just help women connect in meaningful ways. We would absolutely love for you to join us. Thank you, Val, for being here. Thank you all. Whether you are live or on the replay, share this out with someone to be inspired to discover and celebrate their unique value. Thank you so much, Gabrielle. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.